Good morning, people. How are you doing? Today I'm going to be talking a little about preconceptions, which, if explained to you correctly, a preconception is an idea of, well, how would they put it? Of what we think is true. So, a preconception is when we walk into a situation, or we meet somebody, or we start a new job and we meet new people in the new job. And also, when you look at me, you have a preconception. So a preconception is basically another word for a filter. Now, a filter basically is useful for a human being because we need to filter out certain elements in our lives. You know, if we took in every detail as we were wandering around, we would end up being so washed away with concepts and ideas on a regular basis that we would end up without any space to absorb the relevant information that we wanted to. So a preconception is relatively an idea of something we've learned and something that we think we know. Now let me just give you an idea here. Preconceptions are also very easily affected by the mood we're in. So if we're happy, we can preconceive really good things about different situations. And if we're unhappy, we can also have other types of preconceptions. If we've met somebody and we weren't unhappy, sometimes we can have a preconception of that person which isn't true, and then we're surprised. You know, we've all had this. We've been surprised and we thought, oh, I thought that person was an arsehole, or I thought she wasn't very nice. And then you meet them and they're much nicer than you remember. And then you start to think, why did I think they were bad last time? And then you start to think, well, maybe I was in a bad mood, or maybe they were in a bad mood. So there's many different active ingredients in social situations which can cloud our judgment and get us to see things a certain way. So a preconception is a filter, and we are in control of these preconceptions and filters, and we can actually change the way we look and feel about situations. So if a preconception is what we see as a reality, and we cling on to that preconception and see it as a reality and think that that's the truth, that I know it's the truth, this was what I've experienced. But sadly, we don't realize that also people do that with us. And sometimes we say to people, well, why would you think of that of me? I'm not that type of person. Oh, I always thought you were like this. And then you have to explain yourself, and then they realize you're so much more of a deeper person than what they realize. So we can preconceive concepts and ideas about so many things, and we have to question ourselves that what is truly true. And a truth realistically is whatever we think is true. So if we live life through emotions, like if we say, I know it's right because I feel this way. I know it's right because I felt this way about this person. But where did the feeling come from? Now, the feeling came from how you were feeling, and also whatever preconceptions that you've set yourself up with in your life. Whether they be good preconceptions or bad preconceptions is not the question. The answer is to that is, do these preconceptions serve us well? Do they benefit us? And do they give us an optimal experience, a positive experience in our life on a daily basis? The hardest thing we have to realize is sometimes our preconceptions can be given to us at certain times of our lives where we weren't as wise as we are today and as functional as we are today. And we keep living through this system and this concept that we think that it's correct. But sadly, sometimes we're not. Even me, I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life, and that's how I've got to these realizations. So really have a good think to yourself about preconceptions. Have a really good think about how can I change my preconceptions? How can I change the way I feel about things? How can I change the way I think that I have to act? So if we can just shift a few of our preconceptions, and we can do this by realizing when we were young, we preconceived that our mums and dads were certain types of people, and as we got older, our preconceptions of them changed because we grew older. We had more in common with our mums and dads. There was a stage in our teen years where we most probably thought our mum and dads knew nothing and they were idiots and they had no concept of what we were really about. And then we grew a distance to them, and then you get a little bit older, and a lot of you guys have had kids and you've got married and you've got settled down, and if you haven't, you've got older. And if you're lucky enough to have grown older and with your parents being around, you'll find that there's more similarities in your attributes, in your personality and the way you look to your parents than you ever would have thought when you were younger. Because we used to look at our mums and dads as they were older people. I'll never look like my dad or my mum, and I actually look very similar to my dad and my mum. So we have a preconception, and as we grow, our preconceptions do alter and do stretch, but sadly we carry a lot of stagnant preconceptions around with us. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be working on how we can remove these preconceptions and how we can change some of those ideas. And I'm going to give you a good visual story right now. If you imagine that you are a human being, and every other human being is a part of the same ocean. And we're all in this massive ocean of emotion. Yeah? Nice little rhyme. Ocean of emotion. And this ocean of emotion connects us to every other person. If we get enlightened and we get knowledgeable of ourselves, and the more knowledgeable and enlightened we get of ourselves, the more we become self-knowledgeable and in control of our emotional status. All right? The more we're in control of our emotional status, the more we get knowledgeable of how our emotions affect our preconceptions, we're able to separate ourselves from this ocean. And then we become like a boat in the ocean. We're still in the ocean, but we're like a boat in the ocean, and we're able to navigate now through the sea of emotion to wherever we want to be. So the moment we step back from our emotional status and our preconceptions, and we're able to see all of these things, how they create turmoil and how they create imbalance and how they create all these problems in our lives, the moment we're able to do that is the moment we become self-aware. So you can either be in the sea of emotion, being led by emotion, constantly going through turmoil in your life, constantly going through these waves of up and down and left and right, or we can have a choice and we can actually be a boat in the emotion of turmoil, navigating to wherever we want to go, being centered and balanced, depending on the ocean to hold us, because we're never going to be apart from humanity in the emotion. But we're going to be safe in our boat. There will be storms, and we'll be rocked, and we'll be tested. But the truth is, we make our boat as strong as it needs to be. And the more we travel through life, the more developed we get to captaining our boat. I captain my boat, and sometimes I run into trouble and sometimes I don't. And the more I negotiate through life, captaining my boat in this emotional sea of humanity, the better I get at doing that. And as I do that, people want to get on the boat with me for me to teach them how I captain my boat, how I give guidance. And this is what my channel is about, is that me having ADHD and having really bad depression through many years of my life, and panic attack and stress disorder and drug problems and being a little bit offline and crazy, and experiencing so many different emotional states, coming back to myself in my later years and meeting an amazing wife and having some amazing dogs and moving here to Sweden and really having time to self-study and develop myself, I've got a really good understanding of how to do that. So I really hope I can help you over the next couple of days. Keep tuning in and I'll keep doing my videos. And if you want more to know when I've done this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I promise I'm going to keep giving you interesting information. I got some amazing stuff coming over the next couple of weeks. So if you don't subscribe, you might miss something that could be really important to you. So I'm sending you all some love. And it's a beautiful day. The reason why I've got the silhouette, I'm going to turn my camera around just for a second so you can see what it's like outside the window. There we go. Look, the sun is shining and it's beautifully and snow. And we had a massive snowstorm last night. I mean, like a massive snowstorm. And now today the sun is shining. It's going to be so deep out there. I'm going to have to get out and plow the snow. But wow. Okay. As we say, it's all about the love, bruv. Speak to you later. Namaste, Nick signing out.